Traveling with a 2016 Trek Madone. So I had a viewer that had a question about the process of doing this, so I was actually building one up the other day, and I kind of thought I would quickly go through it and see what all is actually involved, just out of curiosity. But first thing, you want to take off the little covers there, which is a little 2mm hex wrench, and then once you get the cover off, there's a little the cable's connected to a little wedge that actually activates the brake. So you'll flip the little quick release and pop the wedge out, and from there basically it's undone. You got the little vector wing in the front, so remove the front wheel, take the cover off there, and then from the bottom you'll need a 3mm hex wrench, and you can remove that little, they call the vector wing there, which is covers the top end of the brake and has the little flaps that come undone. But you'll want to put this separately in a separate bag so it doesn't get damaged, and basically it's just a long screw bolt there that holds it in. So kind of the same thing here. On the directions it says to remove the actual housing there from the cable stop. It seemed like a little difficult to get it out. If you had a really short stack of spacers, you might need to get that out of there, but it seemed to fold up fine without it. But basically they say to put a piece of cardboard or some cloth in the brake piece there and put the covers back on, and then from there you'll just loosen up the stem, like in a typical manner. Take the I've already loosened up the two pinch bolts there that secure the stem in place, and then I'm just taking out the top cap there. So once you get this out, you can that's the little pinch bolts there, which I've got loosened. You can basically kind of pull down on the fork, wiggle up the stem, and from there the little spacers just kind of come apart. They're kind of little half-moon spacers, and there's little indentions on the top and bottom that kind of lock them in place to each other and lock them to the bottom of the stem. It's kind of a little illustration what the bike's going to look like once you pull that stem and bar combo off. But anyway, I've got the stem up just slightly, and you can see how the little spacers there just come apart. It's kind of nice because it makes it easy if you want to do some changes in your fit. But it's all the little spacers there. Put them in a little bag. I got all the spacers off except for obviously the one spacer on the very bottom that the brake cable runs through. You have to leave that one in place. But from here you kind of just have to pull down on the fork to get the stem up off of there, and from there you can just lay it over. You want to have this all bubble wrapped up, keep it from scratching the bars or the frame or anything. Then you might put a rubber band or something around the top of the steer tube of the fork to keep it from slipping down. But that's really the gist of it. It's pretty straightforward, and yeah, that's it. Put it back together, just basically reverse the process.